Today we're at Dunkirk, and it is here that between the 26th of May and the 4th of June 1940, the famous Dunkirk evacuations took place. The Dunkirk evacuation, codenamed Operation Dynamo, or sometimes known as the Miracle of Dunkirk, or simply Dunkirk, was the evacuation of more than 338,000 soldiers from this beach right here and the Jetty over here in the distance during the Second World War. After Germany invaded Poland in September 1939, the Allied troops moved in to defend France. The problem was that the Germans attacked quickly and aggressively. They attacked with 3 Panzer Corps through the Ardennes forest, aggressively pushing northwest towards the coast of France right here. By the 21st of May 1939, the German forces had pushed British troops, French troops and Belgian troops right up here towards the northwest coast. It became apparent that the defence of France, or the attempted defence of France, had failed. And the general of the British forces, a man named General Viscount Gort, decided that the only option was evacuation across the English Channel, and he decided that this point right here at Dunkirk was going to be the most suitable place to try to do that. That brings us here to the beach at Dunkirk, and right here on this sand and over here on this jetty behind me where we're going in just a minute, hundreds of thousands of soldiers queued up in an attempt to be evacuated from the beach or from the jetty. Now by the 26th of May it became obvious that the attack here was imminent by the Germans, that the defence of France had failed, and at about 7 p.m. on the 26th of May, Winston Churchill officially commenced Operation Dynamo. Now by that point about 28,000 troops had already been rescued, had already been moved onto boats and had left the coast of France, but there were still hundreds of thousands of men left right here on this beach at Dunkirk. So as Operation Dynamo commenced, the plan, or the hoped objective, was to be able to rescue about 45,000 men. The plan was to do that over the course of 2 days, because it was felt that by the end of that first 2 days, the German troops would be here and would have cut off attempt for any further evacuation. Okay, so we're now walking down on the sand itself, and I hope you guys can hear me because it is windy and cold down here. So in order to be able to successfully complete this evacuation, of course the troops here would need some kind of air defence, and through the course of the operation, through the course of the evacuation, the RAF actually flew in excess of 3,500 sorties to defend this beach area. Now it's something that's often talked about, and you see kind of jokes, or you hear stories about how the troops here couldn't see any aircraft, they couldn't see the RAF above them, and they were furious, kind of where were the RAF, why weren't they here to try and help them? Well, in reality they were, but they were flying missions out of sight of this beach, further away, to try to defend the skylines and to stop the German bombers and the German Stuka planes from getting in close to this beach and attacking the troops and the boats here. Actually, in effect, despite the feeling of the soldiers here on the beach, during the 25th and 26th of May, the RAF did such a good job of fending off the German Luftwaffe that there were no attacks here on the beach during those 2 days, 25th and 26th of May. So I've moved further out now, further along the beach, and you can see the jetty. That's the East Mole jetty behind me, where a lot of the larger ships pulled in to load troops. Now, available here on the first day, 27th of May, 1940, 1 cruiser, 8 destroyers, and 26 smaller boats were available to evacuate troops. Now, the challenge soon became apparent that whilst the jetty was great for loading the big ships, it was not enough space to unload the amount of troops they needed to. And so the Admiralty here started to search local boatyards and small shipping yards for smaller ships that could be used here on the beach behind me to take troops from the beach line itself, where they could come in for the shallow waters, out towards the bigger ships. So using a combination of those small ships and larger ships as well, on that first day, another 8,000 troops were evacuated on the 27th of May. That number increased to 17,000 on the 28th of May, moving up to an incredible 45,000 on the 29th of May. So by the 29th of May, this mission was moving forwards rapidly. It was already ahead of the initial plan of trying to evacuate 45,000 men from the beaches right here. On the 31st of May, nearly 400 small boats were brought into action right here on the beach. A lot of those coming over the channel from England, and we're going to talk about that in a separate video. But that meant that this mission was proving successful. Now, the jetty just up here, of the men that were evacuated here at Dunkirk, more than 200,000 of them were evacuated onto large ships from the East Mole jetty. We're going to go take a look at that right now. Okay, so here we are. This is the East Mole jetty, where more than 200,000 of the troops evacuated were from right here. This just runs alongside the beach. You can see the beach running along here next to me, but this is the East Mole jetty. I'm going to turn the camera around so you guys can have a better look. So look. So here we go. I mean, this jetty runs out probably about a mile out to sea, so you can see why this was a great point for all of the kind of larger ships to be able to pull in. The trouble was, because this wasn't long enough, they couldn't get as many ships onto here as they wanted, which is why other large ships pulled up out there to sea, and then smaller boats ferried the men in and out from the sand. But there you go. It's the East Mole jetty. Wow, it's incredible to think about what went on here. Over the next few days, a further 75,000 French troops were evacuated here between the 2nd and the 4th of June, officially then bringing Operation Dynamo to an end. So a huge success with an initial hope or an initial objective of evacuating about 45,000 men. Operation Dynamo here at Dunkirk successfully evacuated more than 338,000 troops from the beach and the jetty right here at Dunkirk. So, hope you guys enjoyed this. I really did. I've enjoyed walking around. It is cold, it's brutally cold, and I've got another video that I'm going to film right now for you guys, so keep an eye out for the next one. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't already, because that video is coming soon as part of what's probably going to be a 3 or 4 part video series all about Dunkirk. So guys, in the meantime, thank you very much for watching. I'm going to crack on with filming this next video for you. Thanks for watching.